Darrell Brooks Sr. had called this guy and said he wanted to borrow two Hispanic maids. The suspect stated, "Hey, just so you know, after I'm done arguing your maids, I'm going to blow up your hotel. Bye." Oh my gosh. Darrell is his father's son, honey. Darrell's Faja, Mr. Darrell Brooks Sr. I'm gonna tell you how I know exactly how short Darrell is because of how short his fucking father is. As you can see here on the screen, right about here, standing at a whopping 5'6". Darrell's Faja, 5'6". It's no wonder Darrell's so little. His Faja is a tiny person. He come from a long line of leprechauns. Long line of leprechauns. Okay? That line is long as fuck. This is the whole police report from when he did the whole casino thing and the bomb threat. This is what we looking at. And when I tell you, he sounds exactly like fucking Darrell. Same. You hear me? It's fine being short as long as you ain't out here attacking women because it looks a certain way, honey. You can be short and be a gentleman. You can be short and just be a nice, normal person. But you can't be short and out here bullying only women. You can't do that because it's gonna look a certain way, okay? Okay, it's gonna look a certain way. Okay, so Blake contacted SPD regarding a threatening phone call he received at work at the Nugget. That's the casino. Blank advised he received a call from a subject he knows as Darrell Brooks. Blank stated Brooks told him, "We are going to crip you," and then hung up the phone. Gonna crip him. We are. Now we gotta say we, okay? That's gonna come in, that's gonna be of importance in a little bit, okay? "We are going to crip you," is what he says to the guy, and then he hangs up the phone. Blank advised he recognized the voice on the phone call as being Brooks. And you know he had a distinct voice, just like his son. You know it, okay? And just so it's solid that we know this is his dad we're talking about, that this is definitely not little Darrell. Well, the other little Darrell. Apparently they were both tiny people. This is the Darrell whose birthday is 8/31/56. This precious Darrell is different from this precious Darrell. This is the Faja, okay? All right, so on March 21st, 2007, I met with Blank, who last spoke to Darrell Brooks in regards to case number. Blank stated that he has known Darrell Brooks for the last 4 months through their job at John Asquaga's Nugget. He stated that in those 4 months, he has spoken to Darrell Brooks over the phone on one occasion. He stated that Darrell Brooks had called on 22107 or 22207 and requested to speak to another supervisor. Blank stated that he recognized Darrell's voice on this particular phone call because of his southern accent and the way he says blank name. The guy whose name is under there, the way he says that guy's name is how he knew. So Blank also stated that in the course of their 4 months working together, he spoke to Darrell each day for 20 to 30 minutes. So I asked Blank to think back to when he received the 2 phone calls from 3/18/07. This is where it happens. This is why the whole thing with his dad, okay, and the casino. So Blake stated for both of those phone calls, he did not recognize the voice right away. He stated that it was the same person's voice on both phone calls. Blank stated on his caller ID, the phone number was listed as private and that it came in through their PBX operator. He stated that the first call where the suspect was talking about wanting to borrow 2 Hispanic maids. He wanted to borrow 2 Hispanic maids. He thought that phone call was a hoax. Darrell Brooks Sr. had called this guy and said he wanted to borrow 2 Hispanic maids, okay? But the guy thought it was a hoax, the guy who answered the phone. He stated at the time of the second phone call when the suspect stated, "Hey, just so you know, after I'm done R-wording your maids, okay, I'm going to blow up your hotel. Bye. Oh my gosh. Darrell is his father's son, honey. It's the shenanigans for me. It's the you grown as fucking hell. It's that part. And this is how you talk. Like this, it's so Darrell. This is so Darrell. He said after he finishes R-wording them, he's gonna blow the casino up. And then he just says bye and hangs up. Blank stated that he became really nervous and felt that his employees could get injured. He felt that he and his employees should leave work and that his employees were scared by the threats made. Oh, okay. So he says, I asked Blake to explain to me what occurred on 3/20/07, which is 2 days later. So 2 days after Darrell's daddy calls there, asks to borrow two Hispanic maids so that he could R-word them and then blow up the hotel. 2 days later, this is what happened. So I asked Blake to explain to me what occurred on 3/20/07, 2 days later, regarding that case, right? He explained another one of his employees, Louis Ojeda, received a phone call from a person identifying himself as Darrell Brooks. Brooks asked to speak with another supervisor named Paula Barajas. Blank asked Ojeda who was on the phone and learned that it was Darrell Brooks. Blank asked to have the phone call transferred to him. Blank had the phone call transferred to him and he spoke with Brooks. Brooks asked Blank if he could speak to Paula Barajas or any manager or supervisor in charge. Blank stated that he was in charge and that he would speak with him. So now he done called there, tried to get a hold of two Hispanics, very specific, two Hispanic maids so that he could, in his own words, R-word them and then, blow up that hotel, is what he said. The next day he's calling wanting to speak to a supervisor like a nice Karen. Oh, Blank stated that the phone went quiet for 5 to 10 seconds and then asked Brooks who he wanted to talk to. Blank stated that Brooks stated, "We're on our way to crip you." We're on our way to crip you. He's just like his son, always pretending that he has friends. Now, you ain't got no friends, okay? You need to stop that with that we talk. You ain't got not one friend in the world. Just no friends talking about we about to come and crip you. Blank said that he has learned through past experience that crip means to shoot and kill. Blank stated that Brooks did not make any other statements over the phone and that Brooks had hung up. Blank contacted security and informed them of the situation. Blank stated that the threat made him fear for his safety and the safety of his family. In a later interview with Blank, he explained that he believed Brooks could carry out his threat due to him hearing that Brooks' sons were gang members. Yeah, I know you ain't talking about Darrell. You can't be talking about Darrell. You talking about Darrell? Because Darrell would say that Darrell was a blood. That's what Darrell would say. He said it so much that this guy heard it. Darrell would wear red. And so the rumor was that Darrell was a blood. But no. Okay. In a later interview, Blank stated that when he received this call, it came in from a number, and this is the number. The phone number is a payphone at 599 South Center, which is the Vacation Motor Lodge. Blank explained that after the call on 3/20/03, he knew the phone call on 3/18/07 was Darrell Brooks. He explained this by telling me Brooks stated his name the same way in all three phone calls. Blank explains that he answers his work phone by greeting the caller with the first name. Blank stated that on the initial first two calls that are documented, the caller called him by his first name. This was in the same accent that Brooks says Blank's first name. Blank explained that he put this together after the third call occurring on 3/20/07. I asked Blank, how sure are you that it was Darrell Brooks? Blank stated that he wasn't 100% sure. I asked on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how sure are you that it was Brooks who made the call, made the threat? And he replied 7. I showed a booking photograph of Darrell Brooks, and he identified that as the person that he knew as Darrell Brooks. I asked Blake to explain further regarding all three phone calls and the voices and the voice used, especially during the bomb threat. Blank stated that the accent was the same in all three phone calls and that it was the accent he recognized as Darrell Brooks. Blank stated that Darrell Brooks has a stutter. Of course he do. Of course he do. That Darrell Brooks has a stutter. And on all three calls, the caller was stuttering. Ain't that something? During the interview, Blank did recall that he thought it was Darrell Brooks that made the bomb threat on the night that the threat had come in. He explained this by telling me when SPD officers arrived at the Nugget, he heard one of the police officers state the name Darrell Brooks. When he heard Brooks' name, it made him realize that it could possibly be him based on the way the Brooks talk. The Brooks. Oh, the Brooks. Like, oh, all the Brooks talk like this. Okay. Blank stated that he has had no prior run-ins with Brooks. Blake stated that the reason Brooks no longer worked at the Nugget was because no call, no show. Okay, so he wouldn't even call. He would just not show up. Of course, because, working is not their thing. They're not work people. The Brooks boys are just, they're badasses, they're so gang affiliated that they don't know if they're Bloods or Crips. They want to be both. They're like, you be that and I'll be this, and then we'll have it all covered, right? Makes sense? Y'all. This concluded my interview with Blank. So what do we think so far? Sounding like our Darrell? This is what had happened. He got fired. So he calls down to the hotel. He asked to borrow 2 Hispanic maids. And then he said when he got finished R-wording them, okay, then he was gonna pull up the hotel. That's what he said. And then he said, bye. That's what he said. It's what he said. He said, oh, then I'm gonna blow up the hotel. Bye. That's what he said. Okay. Now he's saying he's going to crip them, even though his son is claiming red as his blood. So, whatever. They're going to be rivals, I guess.